Army Sergeant Bowe Bergdahl is set to plead guilty Monday to charges he endangered comrades by walking away from his post in Afghanistan in 2009, the court case wrapping up just 3 years after a stunning Rose Garden spectacle in which former President Barack Obama, flanked by Bergdahl's parents, triumphantly announced the soldier's release from captivity. Bergdahl was released in May 2014 after a highly criticized deal in which 5 Taliban terrorists were set free. At the time, Obama administration officials said Bergdahl had served with honor and distinction. The U.S. Army said Bergdahl asked to enter his plea before the military judge at Fort Bragg. The Associated Press previously reported that he's expected to plead guilty to charges of desertion and misbehavior before the enemy. It's not clear if Bergdahl, 31, has a deal with prosecutors to limit his punishment or if he's simply pleading guilty in hopes of leniency from the judge, Army Colonel Jeffrey R. Nance. The misbehavior charge carries a maximum penalty of life in prison, while the desertion charge is punishable by up to 5 years. Bergdahl's lawyers are expected to reveal in court Monday whether there's a plea agreement in place to cap his punishment or if he's pleading guilty without such a deal in what's known colloquially as a naked plea. In either scenario, his punishment won't be known until after the judge holds the sentencing hearing that's expected to start on October 23. Bergdahl, who's from Hailey, Idaho, previously chose to have his case heard by a judge alone rather than a jury. A naked plea would be a risky move, Eric Carpenter, an assistant law professor at Florida International University and a former Army defense attorney and prosecutor, told Task and Purpose. It can backfire, Carpenter said. If he doesn't have a deal, they could go in there and enter this naked plea and come out with a life sentence. Guilty pleas would bring the highly politicized saga closer to an end 8 years after Bergdahl's disappearance in Afghanistan set off search missions by scores of his fellow service members. President Obama was criticized by Republicans for the 2014 Taliban prisoner swap that brought Bergdahl home, while President Donald Trump harshly criticized Bergdahl on the campaign trail. Serious wounds to service members who searched for Bergdahl are expected to play a role in his sentencing. While guilty pleas would allow him to avoid a trial, he'd still face a sentencing hearing in late October. Bergdahl's 5 years of captivity by the Taliban and its allies also will likely play a role in what punishment he receives. At one point during his captivity, Bergdahl converted to Islam, fraternized openly with his captors, and declared himself a mujahid, or warrior for Islam, Fox News reported in 2014, citing secret documents prepared on the basis of a purported eyewitness account. The reports indicate that Bergdahl's relations with his Haqqani captors morphed over time, from periods of hostility, where he was treated very much like a hostage, to periods where, as one source told Fox News, he became much more of an accepted fellow than is popularly understood. He even reportedly was allowed to carry a gun at times. The documents show that Bergdahl at one point escaped his captors for 5 days and was kept, upon his recapture, in a metal cage, like an animal. In addition, the reports detailed discussions of prisoner swaps and other attempts at a negotiated resolution to the case that appear to have commenced as early as the fall of 2009.